Hi, my name is Mark.
Please just go away.
I'm sorry if the audio quality of this video sounds a little bit worse than my other videos. I'm quickly recording this video with a much more basic setup because I really have a tight schedule this week and I wasn't really sure if I could record this video later, so I'm recording this now for you. And I probably know what many of you are thinking right now.
Jeez, another Guthrie video?
And yes, I know, even though I made a video about improvising like Guthrie Govan, and another video on why you don't really sound like Guthrie Govan, and Guthrie Govan versus John Petrucci, should you actually practice or not? And they actually mentioned Guthrie in a bunch of my videos, and in a bunch of my lessons. First of all, let's be honest, the guy's a beast. Not really talking about it is like going to a church and not talking about God or Jesus or whatever. And second of all, I just came from his clinic here in Portugal. And man, that was crazy. I really hope he comes back with the Aristocrats or maybe for a clinic sometime. I really can't stress this enough. He's a monumental guitar player. And to be completely honest, a bunch of the questions that he answered or the stories he told were not really new to me. I guess I'm such a big Guthrie fan that from all the clinics and the lesson videos and general videos that I saw of him on YouTube, I can already figure out the Guthrie mentality to answering a question, even if I really haven't heard his answer to it. But it was an awesome experience anyways. And as he was talking, I realized, wait, everything he knows and everything he's talking about is because of this. And in the ride back home, I was like,
wait, but you kinda talked about this before.
But one thing is him talking about it, and another thing is getting it super explained to you. And to be honest, I was already thinking,
I'm going to do this clickbaity title of The Secret of Guthrie Govan, or I Cracked Guthrie Govan's Code, or whatever.
But to be completely honest about it, not only do I think this is a really good tip for all of you who perhaps haven't watched all of those Guthrie videos, or maybe you're just a beginner and you fell into this video without really knowing who Guthrie is.
It's not possible.
No.
For whichever reason you're here, I think you can perhaps learn a little bit from this. And if you can't, well, maybe perhaps check some of my other videos after this one. If you have anything to add to this or have any suggestions for other videos or something like it, leave me a comment below. And I'll explain it in a bit, but basically, the trick that Guthrie uses, his secret or whatever you want to call it, is that he's learned pretty much everything. Yeah, I know, that's debatable. But I'll explain it a little bit better. Before we get into the video, I just want to say, please subscribe to my channel and turn on all the notifications. YouTube has been acting a little bit weird lately. Even if you subscribe to a channel, you still really may not be notified of that channel's content. And that channel's videos may really not show up in our subscription box. So if you really want to stay tuned to my content and the content of your favorite creators, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and turn on all the notifications. Not just occasional notifications, which are set as the default, you really gotta turn on all the notifications. As I mentioned before, I made some other videos about Guthrie Govan, which you can check out in the card section right there, and on the annotations of the end screen, so please stay tuned, I guess. And if you can, leave a like on this video. I guess now we can get straight into it.
Finally!
Okay, so before we start, I just want to say that I'm tuned a half step down. But you don't really need to worry much about that. It's not like I'm going to really teach you specific licks or something like it that require you to tune the same way I did. But anyway, as I was saying, what's really important to grasp about Guthrie Govan, that really explains all of that deal of knowing how to play all of those genres of music easily and knowing how to improvise so well, is that he learned everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. For instance, he was saying in the cleaning that he learned that little ice cream truck song. And by learning that by ear, not only did it improve his skills on picking up songs by ear, but it also made him more aware of shapes. For instance, when I played that example, I'm playing it in E major, or in this case E flat major, and it's around this chord shape. Just by learning this little ice cream truck theme, he already got more comfortable with playing around this chord shape. So if we think about it, he already gained a lot by just learning this one simple theme. Not only did it add to his repertoire and kind of quote library. If you don't know what a quote is when you're playing a song and then you play a little bit of another song. It had to his humorous type of playing. We have all heard those songs detuning when the truck goes away, or maybe when there's a fail in the sound system. He usually does that with his tremolo, but since I have my tremolo blocked off, I can't really do it on this guitar, but you get the point. And then since it's a simple exercise, you can already start to kind of make it harder. You can try to employ harmonies and stuff like that, like instead of playing, I could perhaps try to play it in these kind of more sixth below shapes. can already see the possibilities, right? Even the same thing with quite a lot of theme songs from TV shows and movies and all. And by the way, you should perhaps check my video where I played some theme songs along with some cosplayers at Comic-Con. It's quite a cringy video, but I think you'll like it. Also, one thing that is quite important for you to remember, and it's actually something that I try to teach my students a lot, you shouldn't really try to play really hard to play songs if you're a beginner. I mean, sure, maybe you start to play the guitar and you find out about Dream Theater and you want to play all the Dream Theater songs, and that's cool, but maybe you should try and play some simpler stuff at the beginning. It doesn't really mean you gotta play boring stuff, but if you start out with simple stuff and then gradually start to build it up, it can get much easier for you to get better at your own instrument. Picture it like this. You got a flight of stairs, right? You can either go step by step, or maybe you can try and jump a bunch of steps at the same time. And yeah, jumping a bunch of steps can make your journey much faster. But if you miss the jump, there can be some consequences. Maybe you can hurt yourself, or maybe you're not used to jump such heights. Sure, if you land in the step you wanted to, everything's fine. But if you fail, it can be really nasty. So I suggest you go step by step. And since we talk about him learning everything, a really funny clip is when he's teaching at Joe Satriani's G4 camp, I think, and he's teaching to a bunch of guys outside, and he's playing and he's talking about this really dark chord progression and all, and then a bird comes on and is like, ah, ah, and of course he immediately goes like, or something like it, that quite mimics the bird. And it actually talks quite a bit about birds. He said that a bunch of times he's walking around the street and he hears a bunch of birds chirp and he's like, oh, they're making a little song, let me listen to that little song. As an example, he mentioned that Fives is inspired by a bird chirp. Think about that. Can you already understand the benefits of listening to everything? You listen to the ice cream truck van, you end up learning that theme, and you learn all of that stuff mentioned before. You listen to the bird chirp, and you might get the inspiration to compose one of the most renowned guitar instrumental songs. And this doesn't only apply to melodies.
Consequences will be dire.
Go on.
If you think about it, if you try to learn as much as you can and from as much varied sources as you can, it can get much easier to learn different genres of music. A really good exercise you can do is, for instance, let's say that you're watching anime. That you're watching Naruto, for instance.
What a loser!
You could watch the anime with the guitar in your hands. And you can watch the anime and be practicing your scales and whatever. And if you listen closely to the Naruto soundtrack, you have really hard songs like... and you can get quite sentimental songs at the same time. But let's say that you're a guitar player that hasn't really learned a lot of metal. If you learn that little theme song by watching the anime a lot, you can already grasp a little bit of metal. And even though Guthrie listened to a lot of country rock and jazz and weird things like Frank Zappa, he also mentioned that some TV shows at the time had some kind of a country-ish intro, so he tried to pick that up. And by learning themes like that, he got a little bit of a better grasp in country music. And again, you can do the same thing. Not only with anime, but let's say that you're watching a YouTube video and you hear the background song and you're like... I really believe this is Guthrie's secret. And of course I'm calling it a secret, and it's not like nobody knows about it, or like he hasn't talked about it before. But let's be honest, have you learned the ice cream truck song? Have you actually learned the happy birthday song? What about your favorite movies? Do you know how to play any of those themes? And the same thing with meme songs and all. So yeah, I guess all I can say other than practice a lot is, even if you don't really like a song, try and memorize it, or try to figure it out if you have your instrument nearby, or maybe try to decipher the intervals between the notes. I think you can get the general idea, right?
Probably not. Probably not.
Thank you so very much for watching. As I mentioned before, I hope this video was helpful to you in any way possible. And if it was, please leave me a comment below. Don't forget, if you have anything to add to this discussion, or perhaps you have suggestions for other videos, or what kind of content I should make, don't forget to leave it in the comments below. And as always, I'm giving away free one-on-one Skype lessons. Free! And all you have to do to win one free Skype lesson and discounts on future lessons is to subscribe to my channel, turn on all the notifications, follow me on Instagram, and then DM me on one of my social media, like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook if you want to follow those too, and DM me screenshots, proving that you did everything mentioned before. And yeah, I guess that's it. Again, thank you so very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Don't forget to turn on all the notifications. Follow me on social media, check some of my other videos out, and cheers!